Big night for Colorado sports tonight with 3 different games. Who came out with a win? Let's find out. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. Let's get it. Hey everyone, let's talk sound quality. Imagine having pro-level audio that's easy to set up, flexible, and sounds incredible. That's the Røde Pod Mic USB. It's got both USB and XLR connections, so whether you're recording solo at home or in a full studio setup, you're covered. And get this, the built-in DSP effects let you adjust the sound with zero lag. You get that deep, smooth broadcast tone right out of the box. It's versatile, powerful, and basically makes your voice sound like pure gold. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. Or rather, today it's going to be a little bit of a take of Colorado sports in general. So we had 3 different games tonight for Colorado. We had the Broncos versus the Chargers, the Avs versus the Sharks, the San Jose Sharks, that is, and the Nuggets versus the Portland Trailblazers. Let's get into it. So the Broncos were the first to start playing. Then it was the Nuggets and then the Avs. We're going to take the first and the third game here. So the Broncos started off really well. Bo Nix was looking really awesome. And then the defense in that game just fell down. And I feel like there was a tale of 2 of the same types of games for both the Broncos and the Nuggets tonight. We're going to get into the Nuggets portion, but just for the Broncos portion, they were doing well, they were up, and then the defense just slid off, and it led to a loss against the Chargers. They had a late push, got it the Chargers lead that was ballooned to over 10 points. They got it to just within 1 touchdown, but it was like with seconds left in the game. And so they lost by 7 points tonight against the Chargers. On paper, tonight, all of the Colorado teams should have won. All 3 games. Colorado should have had a 3-game win tonight because you had, again, the Broncos versus the Chargers. Broncos are ahead than the Chargers. The Avs versus the San Jose Sharks, which the Avs are ahead, and it's the San Jose Sharks. They're one of the worst teams in the league. And I know they're not technically right now the worst team, but they are still one of. We're not like splitting hairs here, you know. But then the Nuggets versus the Trailblazers, who are well down in the Western Conference. They're like 3rd from the bottom, okay? Broncos lost against the Chargers. That sucks. Then, actually, I'm going to save the good news. Let's just get the bad news out. And then the Nuggets faced the Trailblazers, and the Nuggets freaking lost in a buzzer beater game down to the wire against the Trailblazers. They were on a 6-game losing streak. We were on a 3-game winning streak. And man, the Nuggets like to break streaks. That is just the takeaway from that. The Nuggets like to break streaks. They are the streak breakers. And then, luckily, though, the Avs won tonight. But for a while there, it was looking like they were going to lose, too. We were going to have 3 losses to easy teams that we should have won against. But the Avs at the last point, they were able to pull ahead and win 4-2 against the San Jose Sharks. That's why I'm wearing all Avs gear right now, because they deserve the recognition, not the Nuggets, not the Broncos, because much like the Broncos, the Nuggets, who were also up in the game, held back like they normally do. They got cocky and they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to win this. And then the Trailblazers, who are fighting, they're very hungry for a win, blow past them, defeat them. They lost tonight by 126 to 124. one bucket. There was several things that went wrong, even down to the wire of this. And we're going to get into it, but man, the Nuggets just love to make you feel that heart attack, and at least with the Sacramento, we walked away with a win that made us feel kind of good. We could breathe easily, but this one is just kind of soul crushing. You should not be losing to easy win teams like this. So lots to review. I also wanted to review some of the other things that have been going around in the league lately. And so one thing is we been off a couple of days since the Sacramento game. Since then, we had the NBA Cup Finals match, which was against the Milwaukee Bucks and the OKC Thunder. Going into this game, I didn't really care who would win, but I kind of started pulling a little bit for the Bucks, and they did win. Kind of pulled for them just because I can't jump on board the OKC bandwagon. I just can't. As much as I try to, I just can't. It is very difficult to appreciate the OKC. I know they do play hard. Then they are the top seed in the West. They are a juggernaut of a team. But there's something about their attitudes that I just can't get behind. They're very cocky. I hate how the entire team goes to the post-game interviews, and they're just all annoying. But, props to their fan base because they do really love that team. I had a lot of respect for them after the OKC lost in the postseason to the Mavericks last season, and the fans were all waiting for OKC at the airport to watch them come in. And so props to the fans of that team, but I just can't jump on board. I'm a Nuggets fan, I'm a Bulls fan, and I'm a Knicks fan. Short of that, it's very difficult to get me on board of any other teams. So, but speaking of the Bulls had a great win tonight. They won against the Celtics. That was not something that I had on the bingo card tonight. I did not think that they were going to beat the Celtics. So if they win against the Celtics, the Nuggets better win against the Celtics, right? Right? You would hope so. But when we can't even get a win against the Wizards, when we can't even get a win against Portland, when we can't even get a win against the Pelicans, 3 of the worst teams in the league, we can't get wins against. Hopefully we will bounce back and get a win on Sunday because we will be facing the Pelicans once again in New Orleans. But it's the start of a back-to-back, and the Nuggets are horrible with back-to-backs. We normally lose the first game, and then we'll win the second game. But this time around, we need to win both games because the turnaround on that is immediately on Monday, they fly back home in Denver to face the Phoenix Suns. We need to protect home court, but then also it's the Suns, one of our greatest rivalries, and we have to win against them, especially in Denver, especially at home. But, the Pelicans already beat us once. They made us look bad. We can't have 2 of those. Plus, they're going to be without both of their key all-stars, all-star players of Brandon Ingram and Zion. So, the Nuggets have no excuse going into that game, especially after this embarrassing loss. You can take an embarrassing loss like this, you better bounce back really hard. Go for, I want to see a 4 or 5 game win streak from this embarrassing loss. But there are things that come with this loss, and we'll get into that in the takeaways. So then the other thing that talking about the Knicks had an amazing win tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And if you know me, you know I love a good Minnesota Timberwolf loss. Being a division rivalry against the Nuggets, especially one that took us out of the postseason last season. The Knicks beat up the Timberwolves just as bad as they beat up the Nuggets. They almost suffered a 30-point loss. They were up at one point by like 35, but the Timberwolves were able to whittle it down. I think it was to another 27-point win. So just as bad as they beat the Nuggets. The Knicks just really like to beat up Western Conference teams. That's kind of what I'm taking away from that. But let's see, and then that's pretty much. Oh, right, yeah. MPJ trade talks are happening right now, and y'all, if you are a Nuggets fan watching this, I hope that you are on the same page as I am of having such a deep admiration for MPJ. He is a true Nugget. You know, you have Mr. Nugget of Aaron Gordon, and then you have our the one Jokić, and then you're supposed to have Murray, even though Murray really hasn't been Murray for like a year or so, maybe even more than. As soon as he won the chip, he just kind of was like drank too much and kind of slid off. Dude's not even 30 yet, and he's playing like he's like on the outside of his career right now. But MPJ, he is supposed to be a Nugget for life. And right now, there's rumors of him being traded. Now, I know that they're just rumors, but they are going around the entire league. Everyone is talking about it. My boys at the DNVR podcast were talking about it. ESPN has been talking about it. And they're saying that the Nuggets are not fully, taking, offers, much like the Miami with Jimmy Butler. But they are starting to kind of think about it. And the unfortunate thing here is that for most people, for most Nugget fans right now, y'all want to trade Jamal Murray. And unfortunately, we cannot trade Jamal Murray. It's just not in the cards. He just signed his extension. You can't do it. And plus, especially with the fact that he just signed an extension and he's not kind of holding up to that, no one's going to want him anyways. It's much like the fact that the one player that the Nuggets would love to get off their roster is Zeke Naji, but no one's going to take Zeke Naji. So what do the Nuggets do? The only one that they can really trade right now that people would want is MPJ. There are talks of MPJ getting traded to the Bulls for Zach LaVine. There's talk of him being traded to the Nets. They're possibly even for Jimmy Butler to the Miami Heat. I mean, there's a couple of different options that they're looking at, and unfortunately, it is all down to the fact that Jamal isn't stepping up. He's not stepping up to the role that he should be playing right now, to the level that he should be playing right now, and because of that, MPJ is a bystander of Murray's ineffectiveness right now. And that just really sucks because Michael Porter Jr. has been very useful throughout this entire season. There's been a lot of times that I've gotten on him because he definitely does a lot of ball watching. I think he's one of the biggest offenders of ball watching on our team. But then he's typically averaging around 18 to 24 points a game. And he's our best 3-point shooter. He's 6'7". He's got some height to him. And the biggest thing here, the biggest thing for me at least, is that he's available. He is more available than anyone else on the squad right now. And if you take Zach LaVine right now, the dude plays less games than the most of the players right now. Like, I think last season he only played like a maximum of 25 games. And that just isn't a good return of investment, an ROI. That's not good. Like, you're going to trade a guy who can be available for almost 82 games for a guy for 25 games. Like, you're going to barely get anything out of him. Yeah, maybe you might win like half of those games. Like, so you take away 10 games. Meanwhile, you could actually be, winning even more games just for having MPJ on the roster playing every night, starting every night. He's in the best shape that he's been in since his injuries and since his, I think it was like the 2021 season. We like had back surgery again and everything. Like he's bounced back stronger than he ever has been. It's just the one thing is trying to get him to snap out of the ball watching thing. Short of that, I mean, it makes me so sick that these trade talks are going on, and I hope and I pray that they are just that, talks, nothing more. Because if you take away MPJ, you're also taking away a big, not just a big, a huge part of the Nuggets chemistry. They don't have their chemistry right now is kind of spotty right now, got to be honest. They're not playing like the Nuggets that we know and love, but you've had MPJ there since he was drafted. He was drafted by the Nuggets. You have Jamal Murray, who's been there since he was drafted. He was drafted by the Nuggets. Jokić was drafted by the Nuggets. He's been there since day one. Brown has been there since day one. P-Watt's been there since day one. I mean, you have the only player that hasn't been there really since day one within the players that are being used right now is Westbrook. Of course, Dario Saric hasn't been there, but he hasn't really been available. And, who wants to play Dario Saric right now? But you've had this amazing chemistry between this team. You already lost KCP, which is a huge part of the chemistry there. You already lost Bruce Brown, who is a huge part of the chemistry. You lost Jeff Green, who is a huge part of the chemistry. If you keep on chipping away at that, it's just going to be Jokić and some guys. And I don't think the chemistry is going to be there. Just because you get a starter, a star player on the team to replace MPJ doesn't mean you're going to replace that chemistry. And so I just really, like, it makes me sick of all this talking of MPJ. I really hate it. I really hate it. So, but hopefully it's just rumors. Tonight was not a good look for those rumors. I think it definitely gave them a little bit more hype. And so let's talk about that game, all right? So CB tonight was cleared for the game. He did play. The starters were the usual suspects of Nikola Jokić, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Christian Braun. The Nuggets were playing in white jerseys. The Trailblazers were in red and black. So they're typical ones. And it was not a good night for Nuggets free throws. I'll say that much. It was not a good night for Nuggets free throws. We have just been really starting to tank on those free throws. We started off really high, and now we're just kind of sledding down that huge, 14,000-foot mountain right now, headed down to the foothills. It just really sucks. So the first quarter, Nuggets controlled the tap, but gave up the ball and a turnover. Both teams go back and forth, missing shots until CB intercepts and gets a layup for the first bucket of the game. Portland responds with a made three, already taking over the lead. CB sinks a three to tie the game at 9 later on. Portland misses a dunk but goes to the foul line, regains the lead. Game just goes to trading buckets for 2 straight minutes before Malone calls the first timeout of the game. Brody kicks it to, or MPJ hits a 3 right out of the timeout, which was awesome. Brody kicks it to CB for a dunk for the lead. And then ball goes out of bounds on the Nuggets side, but no refs saw who touched it last, so it goes to a jump ball, which Jokić wins, and Jamal shoots with a chance to extend the lead, but then misses. The Nuggets win the first, 35-30. I mean, right there. It's great that they won the first quarter, but you only won by 5 against a subpar team. Like, that should have been a blowout right there in the first quarter. We should have had them up like at least a 12-point lead on them in the first quarter. But they hung around by 5 points, and they kept battling back. You got to give them credit. I give Portland a lot of credit tonight. They battled hard like it was the playoffs. And we got to stop with these playoff level of kind of games and regular season. Nuggets should be blowing teams out, not going down to the wire. But the Nuggets start the second off with no Jokić. So there was already no Jokić minutes. DeAndre came in like he has been lately for Jokić. And Portland, of course, has the ball. Started off the second quarter because Jokić got the tap in the first quarter. So Portland starts off the quarter with a made three. Nuggets miss their chance. Portland sinks another three, regains the lead by 1. Westbrook sinks a three to tie the game. Portland responds with a floater for the lead. Ayton gets a jump shot for Portland to be the first to 50. Several turnovers and back-to-back buckets bring their lead to 9. Jokić gets back-to-back threes, buckets from Brody, and another floater from Jokić gets the Nuggets to a tie game. And like they played really well in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. And it's just kind of like, why are we always doing this? Why are we always playing on hard mode? Like, we shouldn't be exhausting ourselves like this. We shouldn't be always battling uphill. It doesn't need to be an uphill battle. We should be getting up high enough so that it's a downhill battle. We should be up ahead of our opponents. Portland wins the second, obviously, because they had a huge lead there, and so they win the second, 36-31. Game is tied going into the half. Third quarter starts, and Simmons, who was a pain in the ass for the Nuggets tonight, gotta admit that. He was a huge thorn in their side. Simmons sinks a three right in the start to get the Blazers up by 3, and then first bucket of the half. AG gets blocked and turnover. Nuggets defense gets hacked. Portland gets another bucket to lead them up to 5. Nuggets finally get a bucket, but it's ruled an offensive foul. CB Euros to get the Nuggets' first bucket of the half. Murray throws it down, giving a mean face. Like, this was really awesome to see him dunk. He charged the rim, got a dunk. You saw the mean face looking at the Portland. It felt like classic Murray. It felt like maybe we were going to get a Murray flurry going on. And he had a decent game. I think he's getting better for sure. But then followed by that, he also got a 3, which tied the game. Simmons gets a and 1, misses the free throw. Jokić and AG battle for the ball, knocking it out of bounds, causing another turnover. And that's the huge story of tonight, is rebounds. We'll talk about it in takeaways, but this shouldn't have happened. You should have had 2 Nuggets battling for the ball. Jokić was already going for the ball, so like AG just hold back. Or, if he doesn't have a good hand on it, then you come in. But the fact they battled for the ball caused a turnover. They got the ball back. They got actually a 3 out of that turnover. It was atrocious. Westbrook gets a steal that is knocked out of bounds, and thank God Malone trusts Westbrook enough to know when to call the challenge, a coach's challenge. And so he called it on that. It was successful. It was actually off of Scoot Henderson. And so we got the ball, but it was like all for nothing because we got the ball and then we missed a shot. They got the ball back, made a shot. Stupid plays like that. MPJ misses. Portland responds with a 3 for an 11-point lead. Another 3 by Portland goes up to 12. Nuggets defense and offense both getting sloppy causes Blazers to get up by 17 at one point. Not once did the Nuggets have a 17-point lead against the Blazers. We should have had a 17-point lead. We should have had a 20-point lead. But not once did we get higher than 9. It was so stupid. And the Blazers are the first to 100. Simmons gets a last-second 3 at the third to take the lead back to 17. Portland wins the third, 28-21. I mean, right there, too. You lost a quarter 28-21 38-21 to one of the worst teams in the league. What are you doing, Nuggets? Get it together. Fourth quarter starts off, and thank God for Brody, because Westbrook starts off the quarter with a jumper for the first bucket of the quarter, followed with a made three, also by Westbrook. Westbrook kicks it to P-Watt for a layup and one to get the lead down to 9. Murray gets fouled and goes to the line, makes the first bucket to get the Nuggets to 100, makes the second bucket. Nuggets go on a 14-2 run. Blazers respond with going on a 6-0 run to bring the lead back to 9. And it's just right there. Allowing them to go on any kind of run was already limiting your ability to win the game. And they just kind of have this laid back kind of attitude on these games of like, okay, well, we'll get it next time. We'll get it next time. Like, stop having those kind of attitudes. You have to. You smell blood, you attack, and you keep on attacking. You don't put your foot off the gas. You keep on going, and they aren't doing that at all. And then so the Nuggets trade buckets at the 3-minute mark. Like, why are you trading buckets at the 3-minute mark? Like, you realize that you have only 3 minutes left in this game to win, and you are trading buckets, and you are not even tied at this point. It was infuriating. Murray, though, hits a 3 to tie the game at 1:20 apiece. Westbrook blocks, and AG sends it to Michael Porter Jr. for a dunk, and the lead with a minute left. Simmons gets fouled and ties the game. Jokić gets an offensive foul charge that sends, or that actually Malone challenges, it's unsuccessful, sends the Blazers to the foul line for 2. Because at this point, both teams are in the bonus. Simmons gets a layup at the buzzer for the win. And, like, the Nuggets did win the fourth quarter 37-22. So, I mean, that's one thing. The Blazers win 126-124, but there was several things that went wrong there. Why is if you look at the last play, the defense on Simmons is just non-existent, and you even had Westbrook on Simmons, and yet he's like 10 feet or more in front of him. He's not even up against him to try to pressure him. AG is way too focused on his guy to even look at what Simmons is doing. And Jokić actually wasn't really doing much at all. And then Murray is just kind of, he tries a little bit, but man, it was just frustrating. And then Malone he called a timeout when he shouldn't have. Like, they were going on a run. The Nuggets were getting on a good start. They got like 3 back-to-back buckets, and then Malone calls it a timeout rather than letting them continue to play, and just stuff like that just kind of really was frustrating. But we'll get into the stats right after this. Hey everyone, if you're looking for a game-changing webcam that keeps up with every move, you've got to check out the Insta360 link. It's a 4K AI-powered webcam that auto-tracks so you're always in frame, even if you're moving around. Perfect for live streams, meetings, content creating, also podcasts. It adjusts to light, zooms in and out, and follows you naturally. This is hands-free, hassle-free, studio-quality production for anyone who wants professional visuals right from the desk. Insta360 link is a total game changer. And we're back. All right, so stats here. We have Michael Porter Jr. played 32 minutes, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 6 for 11 in field goals, 3 for 7 in three-pointers, 1 for 2 in free throws, 1 turnover, 1 personal foul. He was still a +7 on a game that we lost. He was still a +7. I mean, right there, all that stats I just read off, that's what you're giving up if you trade Michael Porter Jr. You're giving up close to near double-doubles every single game. Like, he's upped his ability to assist. He's been upping his rebounding. His percentage, 54% from the field, 42% from 3 tonight. I mean, normally he shoots actually even better than that. Usually he's one of our better free throws. He's had a little slump here, but, still 50% there. I mean, just like, don't even get me started on this whole trade MPJ. It just really is sickening. So, unfortunately, Aaron Gordon, he played 30 minutes, only had 2 points tonight. Really, and there was a lot of times where he had an easy chance to do a bucket, and he gave it up. I don't know what he was going on with him. And then the one time that he actually gets some confidence to try to shoot a bucket, he went to try to shoot a 3 when there was like seconds left in the game, misses the bucket. And that's when Jokić got called for the offensive foul. It was when AG was shooting a 3 and he totally bricked it. And like, instead of trying to go for the 3, just go for the easier points. It's much better to play in the paint at that point than to try to risk everything with a 3. Like, that's more of Jamal Murray's point, or Jokić. Like, if you're already shot, he was he had 2 points, he had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 for 6 in field goals, and he was 0 for 3 from 3. So at this point, it was seconds left, right? So he was already 0 for 2. And then there's always a chance he's going to make it, but that's the 1 minute there, or the 1 second there, that I would have been like, okay, now we'll either go for a dunk, a layup, or we'll kick it out to someone else. But he tried it, and then Jokić caused the offensive foul there. He was also 0 for 2 in free throws, so he did not have a good game tonight at all. He had 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, was 0. So he wasn't a plus or a minus. He was just 0. Jokić played 36 minutes tonight, made 34 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 13 from 18 from field goals, 4 for 6 in three-pointers, 4 for 4 in free throws, 3 turnovers, 4 personal fouls, was a -5. Christian Braun played 24 minutes. He had 13 points, so he went back to his double-digit pointage, which is good to see. And he had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 5 for 10 in field goals, 1 for 2 in three-pointers, 2 for 2 in free throws, 0 turnovers, 1 personal foul, was a -12. And then you have Jamal Murray, played 38 minutes, played the most amount of minutes tonight. He was, a lot better tonight than he has been. He actually got a double-double. So he had 24 points, 3 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 9 for 19 in field goals, 3 for 6 in three-pointers, 3 for 4 in free throws, 1 turnover, 3 personal fouls, was a +1. And then real quick with the bench, we have Westbrook, played 33 minutes, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 8 for 12 in field goals, 2 for 4 in three-pointers, 1 for 2 in free throws, had 3 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, was a +7. Now, Strother played only 9 minutes. He had 6 points, and he was a -17 in the 9 minutes that he played, almost 10 minutes. Not a good night for him either. Peyton Watson played 17 minutes, had 8 points, was a -2. DeAndre Jordan played 11 minutes, had 2 points, and was a +3. And then Hunter Tyson only played 5 minutes tonight. He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and then he was a +8. So, it was just not a great night for the Nuggets. And you think after having a couple nights off, that would have been a better night for them. But they look almost like they're protesting each game. Like they just don't want to play anymore. That's really what it looks like. The fight in them is really a struggle. So overall stats here, we have rebounds, 40 rebounds to Portland's 45, 35 assists to their 29, 7 steals to their 7, 3 blocks to their 7. We were 54% from field goals. They were 46. We were 44% from 3 points. They were 34. 71% from free throws. They were 83. We had 11 turnovers. They had 10. And we had 20 personal fouls. They had 18. So, like, it was right there. You know, it was just a really kind of tells you everything, especially with those rebounds. And that's we're going to get into that with later with the takeaway. But like this was something that on paper, again, we should have won. But because we made a lot of stupid plays and we didn't put enough effort into it, we lost by 2 at the buzzer. So we'll get into the big takeaways after this. As a cinematographer, photographer, and now a podcaster, I do believe lighting is everything. And if you're serious about creating dynamic content, you need to check out Nanlite. They're all about precision and control. Whether it's soft, natural lighting or vibrant colors, Nanlite gives you full flexibility to set the mood for any scene. From compact LEDs to powerful softboxes, Nanlite has light solutions that fit every setup. It's ideal for photographers, like myself, videographers, like myself, and creators who want to pro-grade quality right out on their fingertips. With Nanlite, you're lighting like a pro every time. And we're back. All right, so big takeaways from this game. The Nuggets are plagued with a lack of energy, and it's not sustainable. For them to continue playing half games of basketball, it's not doable. You can't play only 2 quarters. Normally, it's either the third and the fourth. Sometimes it's the second and the fourth. Sometimes it's the first and the fourth, like tonight, and like the one in Sacramento. And so far, it's gotten us to be able to squeak by a little bit here and there. But for the most part, also, it's not been very successful, like tonight. And tonight, unfortunately, was the first game that we've lost when we have actually won the first quarter. Normally, we win the game when we win the first quarter. Not tonight, because they gave up playing basketball in the second and third quarter again. I mean, and then even a little bit, I would say, in the last couple of seconds of the game, it just kind of felt like their energy was a little bit off after, so much had happened. And so, their defense is struggling a lot, but most importantly, it's their rebounding. Like I've already said a million times on this podcast. And even Coach Malone has said it. The announcers have said it. And other people on podcasts, their own podcasts, DNVR, everyone is saying it, and yet the players themselves are not doing anything about it. The rebounding, the offensive rebounding, the defensive rebounding is non-existent. Like, it's just so infuriating when you see them not even trying to get an offensive rebound. They just shoot, and then they're back on the other end of the court. Like, who is in the paint trying to box out the opponents? No one. No one is even in the paint when it's an offensive play to try to get an offensive rebound, or even trying to crash the glass to try to get an offensive rebound. No one is doing that. And even in when they're in the defense, even then, you see the opponents with more players in the paint than you do with the Nuggets. The Nuggets are all surrounding the perimeter. So what the heck is the Nuggets doing? Why are they consistently playing with a lack of energy, with a lack of urgency, with no sense of rebounding? I mean, their defense is like middle of the pack right now. It's kind of a joke. And again, most of the teams know that they can be. They're not going to worry so much about being defended by the Nuggets because their defense hasn't been great. They know exactly who to attack. They know exactly who to send to the foul line, who's going to miss. I mean, it's so frustrating. Each game is a reason for Nuggets to trade or not trade at this. And this game, with rumors of Michael Porter Jr. trades, is not helpful. Like, when we win, it's a good, helpful adding to, no need to trade. But then every loss is a huge red flag to trade someone, to shake things up. And this did not help the case for keeping MPJ tonight. It was really, I was hoping that they would win, if nothing else, to keep MPJ, but they just, oh man, they totally biffed it tonight. This was the Nuggets again, first loss, leading the first quarter, leading in the first quarter, or winning the first quarter, and it just really sucks. This loss really stings too, especially that last play, because it was just a layup. It was a simple layup that could have been easily blocked had Jokić been paying attention, had Murray had a little bit more urgency trying to disrupt Simmons, if they double teamed Simmons, because of course the one person on the Trailblazers tonight who was making consistent buckets was Simmons. He was their best player tonight. I mean, you had a couple of other players who definitely helped carry the weight, but Simmons was the go-to man. They should have locked him down. They should have double-teamed him, and they didn't do that. Aaron Gordon was too busy on his man, and he tried to reach in at one point, but he was like 5 feet away when he tried to reach in. Like, he couldn't even get to Simmons enough to really even have Simmons be concerned with him. It just really they didn't really feel like it didn't feel like they really wanted to win this game at all. And it was really unfortunate. So, but it is just a loss. It is just a one game out of 82. We're a quarter of the way through the season now, and we'll actually no, we're a little bit more over than a quarter. We're almost like into a third of the season now, and I don't know. I think this next month is going to be a huge shakeup. Something's going to happen with the Nuggets, whether it's going to be them going on a major run. Sometimes that happens with the Nuggets. They definitely, around January, start to heat up. And then, or that someone's going to get traded who we do not want to see get traded. And it's going to shake things up, and it's either going to be for the better or it's going to be for the worse, but not much us Nuggets fans can really do about it other than just keep on cheering on the team. And that's why I say keep on cheering on Murray, because he's going to be on the team. He's not going to get traded. They're not going to trade him. So let's stop talking about trading Jamal, because it's not going to happen. And let's instead try to back him up and try to give him confidence to try to get better. Because that's what we need really right now. We need Jamal Murray to be the number 2 guy. And we need AG to be consistently better. We need CB to be consistently better. There are a lot more issues right now than Jamal Murray not being the number 2, but that would definitely help elevate everything else if he does come in. So, their next game is against the Pelicans in New Orleans. And then followed by that, back-to-back, then they go to Denver, face the Suns, and then they face the Suns again in Phoenix on Christmas Day. And then I think after that, they go back to Denver to face the Cavaliers. So it's going to be a hell of a week for the Nuggets. I think they have like 6 or 7 games this week. It's not going to be a fun week for them. And so, I actually said this in the last episode, they're going to have some losses. I didn't think they would have a loss tonight. I don't think anyone really saw that. I don't even think Portland people saw that they were going to have, that they themselves were going to have a win against us. But Malone said it in his press conference tonight that he was already worried about this game, because going into this game, you already had the Blazers, who have beaten the Timberwolves twice this season. You had them getting some other major wins against some other major teams. I think they beat the Clippers. So, this was not some team to just sniff at and be like, oh, we'll win. If they had taken this game seriously, we would not be in this position of being down and suppressed and talking about a loss, rather than we actually would have been talking about a win. A 4-game win streak would have been nice to talk about, but that is sports. You never know what's going to happen. And so the plus side of all of this, I guess, if we're trying to figure out some kind of silver lining out of this, is that normally when the Nuggets take an embarrassing loss, they come out with a win. So they lost against the Pelicans embarrassingly, and then they lost against the Grizzlies embarrassingly. They came back, won against the Grizzlies without Jokić. They lost against the Wizards. Embarrassing loss against the Wizards. They bounced back and destroyed the Hawks. Next game, destroyed the Clippers. So, maybe now we'll come back and we'll destroy the Pelicans on Sunday, and we'll also destroy the Phoenix Suns in Denver. But let's hope for that. Good vibes to the Nuggets. Good vibes to Jamal Murray. We're going to get through this. We're roughly around the same kind of win-loss numbers as we were on the championship year, which does kind of give you a little bit of hope that it's not going to be a very clean season. It's going to be very messy, but we're going to get out of this. We will go to the playoffs. I have absolute faith that the Nuggets are going to go to the playoffs this season. So then it's just a matter of making it through the playoffs to get into the Western Conference Finals first, and then we can worry about the finals. But first things first, we got to win some more games. They've got to take it seriously, and we got to keep on going. The All-Star voting actually came out today. If you do any of that, I highly recommend chiming in on that, trying to I know it's not very plausible that Jokić can get a teammate on there, but, crazier things have happened before. So, try to get MPJ an all-star, or, the one thing is I couldn't vote for Murray just because we all know why. I just couldn't vote for him this season, unfortunately. I ended up voting for, who was it? I vote for Luka and Steph, because obviously they're the two best guards right now in the league, other than Jalen Brunson. And then obviously Jokić. I did vote for Michael Porter Jr. And then who was the other one? I believe it was 3 Nuggets that I voted for. I think the other one might have been Aaron Gordon, but who knows? So, well, that's all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe, share it out to your friends and family, and you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. We'll catch you later.